The Expressionless. In June of 1972, a woman appeared in Cedar Sinai Hospital in nothing but a white, blood-covered gown. Now this, in itself, should not be too surprising, as people often have accidents nearby and come to the nearest hospital for medical attention. But there were two things that caused people who saw her to vomit and flee in terror. The first thing being that she wasn't exactly human. She resembled something close to a mannequin, but had the dexterity and fluidity of a normal human being. Her face was as flawless as a mannequin's, devoid of eyebrows and smeared in makeup. There was a kitten clamped in her jaws so unnaturally tight that no teeth could be seen, and the blood was still squirting out over her gown and onto the floor. She then pulled it out of her mouth, tossed it aside, and collapsed. From the moment she stepped through the entrance to when she was taken to a hospital room and cleaned up, before being prepped for sedation, she was completely calm, expressionless, and motionless. The doctors thought it best to restrain her until the authorities could arrive, and she did not protest. They were unable to get any kind of response from her, and most staff members felt too uncomfortable to look directly at her for more than a few seconds. But the second the staff tried to sedate her, she fought back with extreme force. Two members of the staff had to hold her down as her body rose on the bed with that same blank expression. She turned her motionless eyes towards the male doctor and did something unusual. She smiled. As she did, the female doctor screamed and let go out of shock. In the woman's mouth, there were not human teeth, but long, sharp spikes. Too long for her mouth to fully close without causing any damage. The male doctor stared back at her for a moment before asking, "What in the hell are you?" She cracked her neck down to her shoulder to observe him, still smiling. There was a long pause. Security had been alerted and could be heard coming down the hallway. As he heard them approach, she darted forward, sinking her teeth into the front of his throat, ripping out his jugular and letting him fall to the floor, gasping for air as he choked on his own blood. She stood up and leaned over him, her face coming dangerously close to his as the life faded from his eyes. She leaned close and whispered in his ear, The doctor's eyes filled with fear as he watched her calmly walk away to greet the security men. His last ever sight would be watching her feast on them, one by one. The female doctor who survived the incident named her the Expressionless. There was never any sighting of her again. Old Markham House. Markham, Ontario, is one of the major cities in the Greater Toronto Area. It is a city of sprawling, rapidly rising suburban developments, shining skyscrapers, and business. All of this popped up in only the last 30 years. Before then, Markham was a quiet town. It was not the technological capital of Canada, as the sign will claim. Most of these neighbourhoods were perhaps in a time you lived in. Farmland. There still is farmland around the Markham-Pickering border. However, In the 1970s, the Canadian government purchased a large portion of this land, with plans to build a new airport and a city around it. Many were forced out of their homes, businesses in the area were shut down, hence, abandoned buildings were left behind. The airport was never built. The people were never allowed to return to their homes. Their homes, decades later, still stand, some with all of their belongings untouched. On Reeser Road, alongside some houses that are occupied today, you will find a dirt road leading into the forest. If you follow it, within a short distance, it will lead to an abandoned house in plain sight. Go inside. The house has been vandalized by teenagers and the ceiling is beginning to peel, but otherwise it's in good condition. In the middle of the home, you will see a stairwell leading into the basement. In the entrance to the stairwell, the words "Leave now" will be spray painted on the wall. Walk down the stairs. They're quite rickety though, so make sure you've got proper equipment. Sit down on the ground and wait. At exactly 12 in the morning, if there is a full moon, an old woman will walk down the stairs. You cannot hide from her. She will notice you right away. She will say to you, "It's awfully late. Do you need a ride home?" Say yes. She will lead you upstairs into her car, which will be parked on the dirt road by the house. When you step inside, she will not ask you where to go. She will simply begin to drive off. When she does, ask her, "Can you take me beyond here?" She will reply, "That is certainly a daring request. I will see what I can do." She will then hand you a puzzle box from within her purse. It will be easy to solve, so don't worry about it. But when solved, half of it will fall off, revealing a question written inside the cube. This will be an entirely random question, one with an answer you may know very well, or one that requires a lot of thought. But it will always be very cryptic, perhaps relating to a past event in your life. She will return to you when you're figuring out the answer and ask, "Well?" If your answer is correct, she will hand you a large piece of hard candy. But when you unwrap it, you will find a diamond inside. For some reason, however, after she does, you'll begin to feel a bit empty, as if you're unaware of something important. Afterwards, she will drop you off safely at your home, but the feeling won't go away. If your answer is wrong, she will slam into the nearest car she sees. You won't die in the crash, but your injuries will be critical. The next few days will be agonizing for you, but you'll be completely aware, unable to sleep. Anesthesia and painkillers will have no effect on you. The old woman will come out unscathed. She will visit you in Markham Stouffville Hospital and place her hand on your forehead. When she does, you'll slip away. What you will see will be the most beautiful thing you witness in your life. And what happens after that is unknown. She will tell you, however. You are ready. So you're with your honey, and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer it, and the voice says, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl, and she say, My dad is dead. Then who was phone? Content. We finally nailed the bastard. Will Fennick, age 34, sex, male, psychological profile, unstable. Of all the junkies, murderers and rapists we usually find in the abandoned Ford factory, we had to find William fucking Fennick. The 12th of March 2012, 9 PM. Rockingham County Police Department. Interrogation tape number 0329. Subject, Fennick, William. Officer, Hall, Justin. Hello, Will. Do you know why you're here? Of course. Why? All of them. All the children. All the little boys and girls who I tortured and murdered. That's right. Are you going to talk? You have a right to a lawyer. I don't want to be put on trial. What? You heard what I said. Well, what are you going to do? Simple. Shoot me. What? You hear me, you piece of shit. I can't do that. Do it. Put a bullet in my brain. Watch me shake and quiver and fall down. My brain's on the fucking ground. You don't have the stones, do you? You don't have the stones to do that. Shoot me, you motherfucker. Officer Hall asking for restraints. Subject hostile and threatening suicide. Kill me, you shit. Fennick was later put on trial and found guilty of 20 cases of murder in the third degree. Fennick was executed in the electric chair. Some people at the execution say his searing, blackening flesh sounded like children screaming. The holder of imprisonment. In any city, in any country, go to any police station or prison you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit a prisoner who calls himself the holder of imprisonment. The person behind the desk will tell you that he has no idea of who you speak of. Continue asking until a warden or police officer chief confronts you, telling you to hold your tongue of such nonsense. Become very adamant and rude until they threaten to throw you in jail. At this point you'll need to do something that will get you imprisoned. First, try pushing the warden or calling the police chief's wife a whore. They will attempt to restrain you. Fight back. If they throw you in any typical jail cell, you'll be doomed to rot there until the prison rats have had their fill. Instead, get yourself beaten. Fight as hard as you can so they try and knock you out. If you succeed this, others will hold you down while the warden repeatedly crushes your face with his bare fists. You will lose teeth. Whatever you do, don't swallow them. You'll need them later. So keep them in your mouth. This will spare you from a second fit of pain. When the warden's hands are red and swollen and can no longer clench a fist, they will drag your body, beaten, broken, but do not black out. You'll need to be vigilant as they carry you deeper into the prison, further than what seems possible. It will go darker, The cells will look older and older until the bars of the cells are rusted. Soon the cell doors will become heavy wooden doors, the floor will become dirty, and candles will light the way. When you've noticed the candles have become torches, taunt the guard by saying, "But who watches the watchman?" The guards will pause, and they will throw you into the nearest cell. If Lady Luck is with you, you'll have a cellmate. His name will be Dargo, the Civil. He will be a thin old man, wearing nothing but a loincloth and shackles on his feet. He will have a long stick, which he retrieves his daily rations when they slide under the door. You must ask him, "Will God bring me justice?" He will laugh at you so hard he begins to cry. You must snap his stick in half. With his means of maintaining sustenance snapped with it, you must now eat his food. Even as he begs you for just a single bite, each day a tray of food, for one will be slipped under the door. Eat it all yourself, not sharing so much as a single crumb. Each and every day, ask him, at least once, "Will God bring me justice?" Even if his sobs are uncontrollable. It may take days, perhaps even years, but you must keep your loose teeth in your mouth, never taking them out. One day, he might just answer your question by pointing towards a wall. Using your bare hands, you must dig a tunnel to freedom. Though you'll not have seen the sun in ages, you'll instinctively know that if he points you north, you'll burrow into an underground reservoir and drown in your tunnel. If he points you south, you'll dig under a starving man, and men this hungry will eat anything. If you never fed Dargo, watched him waste away, and broke the spirit of the poor old man, he will faithfully point you west. Tunneling under the wall and into the next room, you will find the guards, armed with swords and dressed in chainmail. They will be playing a game of dice with your fellow escapees, executing those who lose. You will be prompted to play without being told the rules, and the guard across from you will roll his dice. You must beat his roll, but the guards won't share their dice. Prisoners roll with their teeth. If you've not saved yours from a previous life, you must produce freshly loosed ones, or be put to the sword with a chance to spare your life. You must play your teeth across the table as the prisoners surrounding you look on. You won't know whether you've won or not until you feel either a blade at your back or the keys to your freedom at your hands. At this moment, you will know that the outcome is weighed against your morals. If you've led a just life and righted your wrongs, the teeth will fall in your favour. If you win, the guard will reluctantly hand over the iron key. Take it, with the intent to free Dargo. If your hopes and excitement are too much to overcome with the onset of freedom, you will escape as quickly as you can without the item you've endured all this trial for. When you open the door to his cell, you won't find Dargo, only a pile of old bones with a chain cuff around an ankle bone. You should suddenly realise that the old man was dead long before you were imprisoned. You needed every mouthful of food for your strength, to endure, and then the tunnel to escape. Justice wasn't found here. what mercy was. The round bullet in the hollow skull is what you've come for. The bullet is object 259 of 538. Never forget that though you may not have the power of justice, never forget that though you may not have the power to issue justice, you can always grant mercy.
The attendant will look up at you with lonely eyes and lamely motion for you to follow her. She will lead you through a maze of corridors. Do not look back and keep on her heels or you'll be forever lost in this maze. She will show you a door, crumbling with age. She will then suddenly vanish, abandoning you to your fate. Push forward or be lost forever. After you open the door, you'll be confronted with a hedge maze of slowly dying bushes. Follow your gut as you navigate or risk losing yourself to an eternity of wandering. Listen carefully. Every step you make will ring loudly through the air. Should the sound stop, stand still and don't dare to move. If you hear a buzzing sound, shout out, "Go back, I do not need your help." If the buzzing persists, then run. Run for your life. Your body, your mind, your very soul will be in great danger. Do not stop, no matter what you hear or see. Should they catch you, you will be gnawed eternally by the sharp fangs of every problem that has ever plagued mankind. If you escape, then you may consider yourself blessed with luck few have had before. Eventually, you'll make it to the end. Before you will stand at a golden gate, knock once, and it will swing open for you. Slowly enter the courtyard. Inside, you will find a beautiful man in his late 40s, wandering around aimlessly. Ask him this and nothing else. Where were they abandoned? If the man attacks you, then count yourself lucky. You will never see the end of this. If not, then he will show you. He will show you every hidden crevice, every basement lair, every corpse, every madman, every evil place that these things have tainted. You will probably go insane. If not, you are truly destined to see this task to the end. The man will have left you by the end of this slideshow. In his place, you will find a map and a broken watch. The watch shows how much time you have left in this race. You may not keep it, and you will not remember the time that it shows. The map is object 40 of 538. But use it or not. But the knowledge has escaped, and you're the only one who holds it.